On today's episode, we talk about what is being rooted and why get rooted. This is Rooted with Robert, reminding you to breathe the joyous air that surrounds us and embrace every moment that you find yourself in. So welcome to the first episode of Rooted with Robert. Whew, man, I'm glad I'm here. This is awesome. I just recently found my appreciation for podcasting just from messing around a little bit, and yeah, here we are, first episode. So today I kind of want to talk about since the concept here is being rooted, and this is not something that's going to be in every episode here. I mean, this is just kind of the core value of me that I'm trying to kind of spread, kind of indirectly, but I think it's very important. So I kind of just want to start off here with talking about what is rooted. Like, what does that mean? All right. So I mean, the best way to tackle this is just to kind of give you my sense of it. So when I think of rooted, I think of groundedness or stability. So think of the basic physical analogy of a tree. The tree's roots go deep into the ground. I mean, the tree's roots are, I don't know what the number is, but it's definitely 1.5 times at least bigger than the tree that you see above ground. Like the diameter and the circumference of the roots, and I think that's just incredible. And I think that also just shows the importance of being rooted. So trees are always just the best physical example that we can see on a day-to-day basis to kind of remind us on the things that matter. But so the way I think of it, it's like rooting yourself is setting the foundation. I mean, it's the basis for whatever comes after. If you don't have the roots, the leaves, the branches, the trunk won't grow. And if you don't root in good values and in good soil, then the tree will not be so resilient in the wake of a storm. So yeah, that's kind of my concept of rootedness, and just yeah, I mean. Yeah, so I'm just going to go into this, the implications if you're not rooted. And I think this is big. I'm here in College Town, and I see this, I've experienced it myself. I see this a lot with people. And the number one thing I see with not being rooted is anxiety. I know that's the big word just to throw out there. Everyone knows that label, and they're like, oh, wow, that's a big one. But really, anxiety is just with no basis of security. You have no sense of stability. You just don't feel secure. I mean, and that's in general terms. Like, in reality of it, it's just this connection to the moment, and you just get carried away by a lot. You really get carried away. And I think when you're not rooted, that's one of the symptoms that it kind of reminds you, like, if you're feeling really anxious, that's one of those signs, like, hey, you know what, maybe I should do something to kind of re-root me back in the moment. Also, another kind of implication if you're not rooted, or another one of those surface symptoms, is just being resistant to change. Like, if difficulty letting go and all those things, like that's another clear sign that you are not rooted. And that's not, it's nothing to be harsh on. It's nothing to beat yourself up over. But these are just signals to let you know what your next decision probably should be, if you're trying to live a life of utmost fulfillment, I guess you can say. And I guess the last but kind of most obvious is just an unstable foundation. And what I mean by this is, do you feel lost? Do you you feel indecisive? Do you feel uncertain with what you want to do? That's it's a good sign that, maybe you just, instead of looking outward for what to find, quote unquote, just look inward. I know it sounds really corny and cliche, but the the inner worlds of us is what's going to represent the outer production that we give to the world, our creativity. So I think this podcast is going to be really important to me because, although, like I said, I'm not going to be talking about being rooted every episode at all. This is probably honestly the only episode I will talk about it, but it is a value and it is a principle that I think carries through all the things I will talk about, and incredibly important. Incredibly. I got my coffee here, delicious. So, what's my target population? Well, who am I trying to shoot for here? Honestly, everyone, in the sense that everyone needs to self-reflect first and foremost. If you don't have any self-awareness, then you need to start introspecting and looking inside of yourself and seeing what's in there, because if you are neglecting your inner workings, then whoa, oh man, you are making decisions that are way above what you actually want, in my opinion. Or I guess you can be making decisions that you truly want, but you aren't aware of it. But unless you self-reflect, you really don't know. Yeah, honestly, I've been there, done that. It's a game changer once you start taking the time to reflect on your own life and not just the things around you, your job, school, friends, but where you are in place of this world, your existence, you sitting down in that chair in your car, at home, how you feel just being there, I think that's what's important. And also, I really want to reach out to people who are suffering from anxiety, as someone who deals with anxiety too on a daily basis. Man, like, I feel for you, like, it's a big thing, and it can be dysfunctional. It gets really bad, but even in minor terms, it can be debilitating just for simple actions of concentration, of just restlessness, and you just can't really get much done. But I mean, yeah, and I'm definitely not talking about just disordered anxiety. I'm talking about just like, you know, a heightened sensitivity to things where you get more anxious than a general person. And that's not, I wouldn't consider that a disorder, but it is definitely something to attend to in order to function at your highest potential. And honestly, anyone who wants to improve, I think, could definitely benefit from, just hearing me out and just, I mean, I'm just talking about life here basically. But if you wanted to improve, introspection is necessary for an honest, cohesive self. Um, Honestly, like, and that comes from rooting. When you root yourself and you're stable, then things can form around that in cohesive ways, and I think that's crucial. So, kind of want to discuss what I'm not. I'm sure when you hear me talk about being rooted or groundedness and being in the moment, you think of like Buddhist stuff, like Zen, meditate, kumbaya, and kumbaya. But those are all important. I really do respect and appreciate the Buddhist religion. I think there's such truth in their dedication to compassion for one another and to a simple life of just experiencing each moment and not non-judgmentally, you know, being with their thoughts and stuff like that. I have the utmost respect for that. I've gone through my Buddhist interest phases and stuff like that, and you don't got to be a Buddhist to practice the principles. It's just life principles in general. Anyone has the ability to practice and benefit from them. And there's nothing to hide and feel ashamed of. And I think that's what people kind of fear is what's down under. Because when you root yourself, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to see yourself for what you are and accept that. And no matter what is under there, you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and you shouldn't have to hide it. You should embrace it and take the next step forward to make that next better decision. That next better improvement on yourself. But yeah, definitely coming to accept yourself is crucial, and I don't think that being rooted coincides at all with hiding away from yourself and not being honest and denying of who you really are because someone else says that that's not a good thing. So, like I said earlier, I'm not just going to be talking about being rooted at all, by no means. I'm going to talk about topics that relate to rooting, like anxiety, patience, gratitude, and even like meditation and mindfulness. I don't mean to pair them together, but that's for me, my practice kind of combines them into one. But those are the things I'm also going to probably talk about because they are all applicable to everyone, no matter what your beliefs are. I mean, it's something to try out. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. But the principles that underline all of them, excuse me, I think will definitely set the stage for improvement. And also, I'm just going to be talking about topics regarding well-being and the person's life in general, the general person's life. I mean, things like education, social media, exercise, stuff like that. And I got some friends who will probably come on, and we'll have some conversations about some of this stuff too. But for the most part, it's gonna be me doing a lot of these episodes, and I'm gonna try to make them as entertaining as possible. But honestly, I think this is just more of a place to kind of come to and reconnect and think about some of these things that we might not be thinking about on a daily basis because we're so busy in a superficial life for the pursuit of money. And I understand money is important to acquire resources and stuff like that, but when the money's gone, what do you have? And that's your existence. So I think that's kind of where you should start. And a lot of people go for the money. See, that's the thing. It's like, oh man, this money talk's gonna get me going. That's the thing. It's like money is good. Money can get you things. Money can improve your life. If you're sick, you can pay for treatments, stuff like that. But people are shooting for the money before they start at the foundation. You can't. The tree doesn't grow by the leaves first. It starts at the roots. And that's what I kind of want to get across is you got to start at the bottom. You got to start with understanding who you are, accepting what you are, for whatever that means to you. Exploring, just being self-aware of your tendencies, your behaviors, how you think, things like that. Because until you do that, then you won't really know where to go, which direction to take you that will bring you the most fulfillment, I guess you can say. And I think that's crucial, honestly, completely crucial. So yeah, so I just wanted to use this episode and kind of just give a brief introductory to the podcast about what rootedness is and such things like that. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and there will be another episode next week, episode 2. Hopefully I'll have a guest star, making an appearance, but if not, you guys will enjoy my presence. Well, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and you know what? Life is beautiful, baby. Life is beautiful. Have a great day, everyone.